Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. Did I just almost forget my channel name? Leaving that in. My name is Katie, and if you are new here, hey, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing for lots more diamond painting content, and if you are back, welcome back. Today I am here for my weekly WIP and Chat. Now, if you're new, WIP stands for Work in Progress and Chat stands for Chat, so feel free to whip out your WIP and work alongside me. I'm going to be diamond painting today and just chatting and catching up on life and crafting and all the things. And as evidenced by that stumble that was completely not staged, I do try to keep things very authentic and just honest. I am not a perfect person here. I am just happy that I get to spend some time with you and hope that you feel just comfortable and at home here. So anyway, I am going to be working, like I said, on a diamond painting, and I'm working on this kit that is called Trick or Treat by Ann Stokes. It's from Diamond Art Club, and that's the original artwork. It's so cute. And I've decided to work on this in a little bit of a unique fashion. I'll explain why in a bit. I'll tell you now. I've done the bottom row here, and then as I was doing that, I thought, there really is just a lot of dark background going on here. Why don't I start and do the whole border, like all the border sections first, and then end in the middle with the dragon and the pumpkin. And so far I've completed the bottom row, and I just finished this column. And so what we're going to be working on today is this section right here. I know it's not terribly exciting, my apologies, but we're upside down right now. So this is the top of the canvas here, but obviously we're upside down. So this was a new release this past weekend as part of Diamond Art Club's Halloween releases, and this was one that I was sent to share ahead of the weekend as a sneak peek, and I was truly so in love with this artwork that I just wanted to start on it right away. And as far as my other tools that I'll be using, which all of these will be linked below, I have this pen from Black Wolf Woodworks. I really, really adore their pens. I've had this one for a little while, but the colors are just too perfect to not use with this one. And then the tray is from Cat Proof Diamond Painting Trays. And this is one of the trays they made for Drills and Chills. They're one of our sponsors. And then this I love this minder so much, whatever spices your pumpkin. This gives me no end to amusement. This is from Galloway's Gallery. And then I cannot remember which other accessories I used in last week's video, so I apologize if these are repeats. I try to do a lot of variety so that you're getting to see a really wide variety of small shops here. I know I've used this in at least one WIP and Chat. I just don't remember if it was last week. I don't know. I try to alternate, not do the same small shops week over week, but sometimes I forget, so don't read into it. This is from Patty Wax in the scent Pumpkin King, and then Randa's Crafty Corner Putty in the scent Campfire. I love this scent. This one is really, really, really good. So I'm gonna refresh this putty and put some new putty in here. I am using Diamond Art Club's more recently released thin metal multi-placers. These are I think it says on their stainless steel. They're metal. I don't remember exactly what metal they are. They're metal. This is the 12 placer. They just had recently released these larger sizes. Up until a few weeks ago, they only had up to a 6 placer, and then they released an 8, 10, and 12. And you guys, I just don't know that I'm ever going to go back to any other kind of multi-placer. I love the thin placer so much. But interestingly, what I am running into, and in talking to some friends that have also been trying out these thinner metal multi-placers, what we're finding is that a couple of things. One, it feels like, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, this campfire scent is fantastic. It feels like we're having to refresh or reload our putty more often. And I'm trying to figure out if there's something about the finish on the metal, or something about how deep the well is, or how thin it just is overall. I was like, there's something about this that is making my putty feel dirtier and softer faster. And I haven't figured out what it is. So I'm going to keep using them and see if I can sort of pinpoint over time what those why it's having that tendency. And I'm hearing the same thing from multiple other diamond painters, just saying like, yeah, it kind of feels like I'm having to refresh my putty more often. And I don't even feel like I can give Diamond Art Club feedback about it because I don't even know what the potential problem is. It could have anything to do with like how you diamond paint, or I don't know. There could be so many factors at play. So my science mode is engaged, and I'm gonna be like, okay, let's test it out with some different kinds of putty. I don't know. Oh, I should keep that handy. And then let me do a refresh on my single placer. I don't remember what is in here, but we're gonna flip over to Patty Wax. They have a lot of really fun fall scents. I'm loving all of the fall goodness that's happening in these small shops. And it's a real problem because I just want to buy all of it. I love all things fall so much. But here's the thing is that's like 3 months out of the year, like September, October, November, maybe stretch it into like August or something. And then the whole rest of the year, I don't really want to use fall things because I just feel like, well, it's not very seasonal. And then sometimes I'm like, why do I have all this fall stuff? I can't use it. And then I'll be like, let me destash some of this. And then fall season rolls around again. I'm like, where's all my fall stuff at? So, anyway, hi, how are you? Should have led with that. I hope that your week is off to a wonderful start. Like I said, I just adore our little weekly Monday check-ins, and it's a nice way for me to sort of decompress from the weekend and sort of shift my brain into the mode of like, okay, like now we're going to be starting another week, especially now that like the kids are in school and stuff like that. It's like, okay, there's more of a marked difference from, the summer where, weekend to weekday wasn't as big of a deal, at least for the kiddos. But now it's like, okay, here we go. I tried to stage this and set this up so that you'd have minimal glare in that spot, but it's not doing it for me. By the way, I know I'm pulling it at an angle so you can see, but that white dot on a black background, that's all 310. There's actually a little bit less of it in this section. This last section that I did was up here. This is the top left corner, and it was just almost entirely 310. I had three and a half of these large Elizabeth Ward size containers just full of 310 diamonds. It was absolutely ridiculous. It's looking a little like blurry and soft to you, so don't mind me. I'm just gonna wipe off that camera lens a little bit and make sure that we are crystal clear here. Okay, so this is just the very, very, very casual WIP and Chat. I hope, like I said, that your week is off to a great start and that you had a really nice weekend. We've had a very relaxed, the kids and I at least had a very relaxing weekend. Adam's had a very busy weekend. But I've made some nice progress on my Drills and Chills project, which is this one. And like I said, this was one that I started on right away. It came in on Thursday, the day before the sneak peek had to go up, so I didn't really get a head start on it and share any progress with you in that video. But I started on it right away. I remembered when this image had been in the voting back, I don't know, early in the year, which if you don't know what I mean when I say the voting, Diamond Art Club does from time to time put up polls in their VIP group where you can vote on images that you like the best, and the ones that do well in the polls they'll then turn around and produce as diamond paintings. I'm sure other factors are at play as well, but that's the general idea. And so I remembered seeing this one in one of the voting rounds and going, oh, if this one made it, that would be like an absolute must-have for me. I adore the artwork, and it's just, I love it. I really enjoy a lot of Anne Stokes artwork, but I'm kind of picky about which ones I'll want to get to work on as diamond paintings, because sometimes it's like maybe not exactly my style, or what I'm discovering as I'm working on this is I'm having a little bit of a similar mixed experience like I did when I worked on the kit Little Helpers, which is an Ann Stokes kit from Diamond Art Club. And that is also seasonal. It's seasonal to winter. I think I worked on it in, that had been 2021. I don't think that was a 2022 kit. I think that was 2021. A super, super adorable kit. But I have to tell you, there was something about the colors and the process of working on it that I didn't enjoy it as much. And it has me just being really deliberate about questioning and trying to pinpoint, like, okay, I don't want to get a diamond painting kit just because I love the artwork. I want to make sure I'm really thinking about, am I going to enjoy working on that? And this one has been a little bit tough so far with the background and some of the colors that are in it. And I know you're probably going, well, then why are you going around the outside edge instead of working in the middle? Part of it is because I am struggling a little bit with some of the 310 drills, and having to pick around them just a little bit. And I'm kind of thinking, well, if I just sort of get that part out of the way, maybe I'll enjoy working on the middle a little bit more. I'm not really sure. I can be a bit fickle for silly reasons. But I really wanted to work on this one because I thought it would be a really cute companion piece to which I'm sure I've mentioned this, possibly ad nauseum at this point, a kit from Jada Gem Shop, which I did get over the weekend, as in I have it in hand now, and I'm going to be working on that very soon too. So I do have one other WIP going. It's Plant Witch from Distracted by Diamonds, and I worked on it in last week's WIP and Chat with you guys. And I just decided that since that's a round drill kit, that I would maybe table that. Now that I have this kit in, I'll table that kit to work on in between this kit and my Jada Gem Shop kit, which is going to have square drills like this one. I thought it would be nice to break up the square drill projects a little bit. So no, I have not completed Plant Witch, but you will see that one again soon. And I'll also talk about it and share, kind of how far I've gotten, and you could see it in my month in review video, which I haven't filmed yet. It's October 1st. I haven't filmed it yet. I'll probably film it tomorrow, which is today, the day this video is going up, and have that up for you guys this week. But yeah, so I'm really enjoying that kit, and I have found more of a groove with this kit. I've only been working on it for a couple of days, so I just need to relax a little bit. But I love all the Halloween fun. I'm seeing so many shops come out with some really fun Halloween kits and goodies. Enabler's Outpost just released in the past couple weeks some cute snack size seasonal kits. There was one Halloween one that I'm still thinking of going back and getting, and then a cute, more holiday, like winter holiday themed one. I don't know if it's really specifically Christmas or if it's just sort of general winter holidays. That's really cute. And so they've got some good stuff there. I know that I'm forgetting some small shops, and I do apologize. Jada Gem Shop, because I have one coming in I just got in from them, and Diamond Art Club, and tons of shops. And then, of course, accessory shops, too. I am excited to, hopefully the next couple weeks, I will be sharing another small shop haul that's Drills and Chills sponsors. Oh, no. I was trying to shift these drills over, and instead I popped a couple off. I got in a couple of pens from Bistro Blanks, which I hadn't ordered from them in a long time, but those came in, and those will be in a Drills and Chills small shop haul video. By the way, I was highly, highly, highly amused because last month I did a Drills and Chills small shop haul video, and it was specifically of things I had purchased from sponsors for the event. And I was so amused because just the way that it shook out, I didn't have any pens in hand to unbox in that video. And if you don't watch my small shop hauls, like my regular ones on my channel, even if they're not event related, I always make a joke. I usually unbox the pens at the end, and I make a joke about how, okay, yes, we know I love pens. And if you see a small shop haul video where I don't unbox any pens, you need to take that as a cry for help. And I had several people who remembered my sort of saying that in my non-event small shop haul videos comment and go, "Where are the pens? Is this a cry for help? Like, blink twice." It hadn't even occurred to me because I was like, oh, it's an event video and I don't have any pens to share right now. So, I had ordered some, but they weren't in hand yet. So I was amused by that. It's like, oh, people are paying attention to my shenanigans. So that was really funny and really amusing. And speaking of drills and chills, we did take off. Lindsay and I did take off from putting up videos this past weekend. We were both kind of under the weather. You can probably still hear it a little bit in my voice. But we were both feeling kind of under the weather and also just like a little bit fatigued from making videos, and thought, maybe this will be a good week for us to take off. We can call it a bye week. And I knew that we had 9 Saturdays in September and October. There are 9 Saturdays between those 2 months. And I knew that we only had 8 weeks of planned content and giveaways. And we had just kind of thought, well, we'll just let the last Saturday of October just be the off week and just kind of be people wrapping up their projects and stuff like that. But then when we talked and then decided, actually, how about we do a mid-event break instead? And it was good to just kind of take a little breather this weekend. I don't want anyone to think that like we're being, ungrateful or lazy or something. It was the right timing. And so I appreciate that everyone's been super gracious about that. And we'll be back with good stuff this upcoming Saturday we're still going to call it week 5. The week 5 video, I think. So yeah, I just took a little breather and had a little bit of a downtime weekend. I did a lot of shopping over the weekend as well, or late last week. I went through and I had a bunch of shops on my list to try out shopping from, and I sat down one night and I was like, all right, I'm in a shopping mood. Let's get this done. And so I will hopefully have I have some new shops to share with you. I think they might, at the moment, all be related to drills and chills. But I have my eye on another shop that I want to try out. So I'll mention it here because when this video goes up, I believe they'll still be open, but I don't remember the time zone that they're closing. But the name of the shop, I believe, is Les Créations de Clos. And they have diamond paintings now. I believe that they start out with just accessories and they launch with diamond paintings. And they switched how they do their order system. They've tested out a few different ways of ordering diamond paintings. And at least for the moment, this could totally change. At least for the moment, what that looks like is that they open to take orders on like the 1st and 2nd of the month, like the 1st and 2nd dates of each month, just for those days. And then they place an order with their supplier. And I don't remember what the turnaround time is either. I'm terrible. I didn't have all this information handy for you because I didn't really intend to necessarily, like, I didn't go into it planning, like, I'm going to mention Les Créations de Clos. But, yeah, so I think I want to try to place an order with them. They've been on my list to try out as far as diamond painting shops go. I've ordered from them accessories wise in the past. I'm almost certain that I have. What would I have ordered though? I think it may have been a while. I'm pretty sure. Was it trays? Or was it putty? I don't remember, you guys. So there, I'm gonna try to remember to shop after I finish this video because I don't want to miss their order window. I missed it last month with all the busyness, the delightful busyness of drills and chills kicking off. But yeah, so go and take a look. Like I said, I apologize. I don't remember what exact time in the time zone that they close for orders, and I'm not an affiliate or anything. I'm spending my money because that's how I prefer to do it to try them out. So yeah, they had a couple images I had my eye on before, but yeah, so lots of shopping. That's what I always try to use. Anything that comes in income wise from the channel is just like, okay, let's turn around and I'm going to put that right back in because that's what I try to do. And what I want my channel to be about is let me be helpful. Let me test a huge variety of things. And I really, really like when I can buy kits because then I feel like, I don't know, like I like to think that maybe it lends a little bit more legitimacy to any reviews that I do, because I know it's really, really hard, not only for people to sort of take it, as 100% honest. I think it's probably good for me too. It like kind of frees that up in my head as well. As much as I strive like really, really, really hard to be unbiased about anything that I might be sent for PR or to share, sometimes there's subconscious bias, and I'm not silly enough to think that I'm not susceptible to that. So, yeah, I'm trying though. I promise I'm trying, and I'm aware that is a thing. And so anyway, random little tangent there, and little disclaimer. I don't know why, that's just kind of been on my brain lately, and I feel like I need to make disclaimers about that too, even in my unboxing videos and stuff, especially because I feel like there's been a lot of changes that have happened, and I feel really bad the idea that someone might watch a review or an unboxing of mine of a way that a company like how their kits appeared at one point and or to me, and maybe it's now a year, 2 years, 3 years later, or even just months later. Sometimes there will be changes, and it's like someone will order a kit based on something that I did, and they have a completely different experience, and that just like, it makes my heart sink. It makes me feel terrible, and like I've like let them down. And so I don't know, just because it feels like things are a little bit more volatile lately as far as just things being really susceptible to change. Like, okay, now we have a new manufacturer, there's this new process or something. I just might need to vamp up like the disclaimers that I'm putting and mentioning this, just so people are really, really aware. I mean, there's plenty of videos on my channel that just aren't even like applicable anymore because like the shop closed down, or they're under new ownership, or the name changed or something. So it's just, yeah, I probably should go through some of my old videos and make some like notes in the description and whatnot, just because, yeah, no, people still watch. I'll get comments on videos, like reviews that I did that are 3 years old. And so, yeah. But just know that that's something that is on my mind, and I'm trying to pay attention to that and figure out ways that I can sort of get ahead of that and be helpful. And it, like, for what it's worth, like if you have made a purchase from a company and had a wildly different experience than I have, and you made that purchase because of a recommendation on my part, I'm really, really sorry. Like that was not at all like something that I intended, and I'm highly aware of the responsibility that, anyone that makes content and shares it, that people look to for recommendations or advice, or like, yeah, no, this is a good place to spend your money, or no, I wouldn't. Just know I'm trying to be like really introspective and aware of that, and just take a good hard look at how I'm doing things so that I'm being as authentic and as helpful as possible. So I'm just acknowledging that, like fully acknowledging that. But by the way, speaking of older videos, I wanted to thank so many of you who shared your thoughts when I asked in last week's WIP and Chat what you thought about me sort of going back and doing like new versions of some older videos, like my top 10, or no, it wasn't even top 10, it was top 5, like beginner tool upgrades for diamond painters. And so my brain's been going on that, like, okay, what would I say? How can I make that a more refreshed video? How can I figure out what are shops that I want to recommend where it doesn't feel like I'm leaving people out? Because there's so many good shops that I would recommend. So I am noodling on that, and I really appreciate so many of you that said, yeah, no, that would be really cool to see what you would say now that it's, you have this many more years or whatever of experience, and, having tried out lots of different products and that kind of thing. And even just having a sense for, these are the kinds of tools that I think are really important to upgrade and change and whatnot. So I'm noodling on that. I don't know that anything will really happen before Drills and Chills wraps up, because that really does take up most of my just sort of energy, brain power related things. But it's on my brain for sure. But yeah, that was really helpful. I appreciate that so many of you took the time to respond to that. Yeah. So anyway, I was taking a quick look over at my little notes for myself, which I usually I write out for a WIP and Chat, because sometimes I'll lose a train of thought and go, wait, what was I going to talk about? So this weekend, like I said, there was a lot of like good downtime and stuff for the kids and me. Adam was helping a friend move, and he had texted that he was on his way home shortly before I started this, and said it would probably be about an hour. So he may pop his head in here towards the end, and say hello. But this weekend, and just in general, like the past week or two, I've been feeling my anxiety sort of steadily climbing, like my baseline, like kind of just going up and up a bit. And I'm not entirely sure like what all of the causes of that may be. By the way, this space, my channel and my community, I try to make a place that's really safe and accepting of, lots of people struggle with their mental health in a number of different ways. Like we have a lot of neurodivergent people here. Like this is a place that I want to be like really accepting and affirming of those struggles and ways that you deal with the world. Hi, I'm one of you. I've struggled with depression and anxiety on and off, basically since I was depression since I was in high school, and anxiety that really started after I had kids. Especially after my second, I dealt with some really rough like postpartum anxiety, and I've just kind of, I was since diagnosed with just generalized anxiety disorder, even after that. And it's just like I'm having trouble like falling asleep at night sometimes. Like Adam ended up staying overnight at a friend's house in LA last night so he could be there and like ready to start with moving first thing in the morning. And normally like from time to time he'll stay overnight up there with a friend, and it's not a problem. Like I'm not one that's like, oh no, like I can't sleep if my husband's gone. No, like I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm good. But I think that was something that kind of bothered me a little bit last night. And I just was feeling a little bit of heightened anxiety over that. And I think probably a lot of like what my youngest is sort of going through right now, just with like a ton of sensory seeking. And, I'm working really hard to get things rolling with like, he has a dentist appointment this week, and I need to call like the ENT and stuff to get a look at his ears to see what's going on in there. And I think that maybe I just have a lot of anxiety related to that. And I think I've discovered that I have a lot of, I feel like I've said anxiety a million times, but there's a lot of stress and like almost fear and whatnot that is coming from the prospect of me having people over to my home, like hosting people over. Adam was reminding me, he's like, oh yeah, like reach out to Rachel. We were going to try to have her and David over, with their kiddo and do like a family like game night and stuff and hang out, put the kids all to bed here and then hang out after they go to sleep too. And I just instantly was thinking about like, any number of things, like the fact that my home still feels like it doesn't feel like it is still partially under construction. Micah and my youngest, and the things that he kind of has going on can be just a lot for people, especially with a lot of the sensory seeking he's doing right now. And I think I'm feeling like extremely protective of him, and just sort of feeling like I almost just want a turtle. It's like I don't want to have to try to deal with like someone in our space and making sure I'm Micah's not too overwhelming for them, and they're not like stressed or, like judging like the way that the house is like basically partially under construction still, and all of that. And I don't know. I feel like I'm just struggling to be social, especially in person. And so like that's contributing to some of my anxiety and kind of like just my to-do list and whatnot. So I don't know. I had a productive day earlier this week where I sent out a bunch of messages and made some phone calls. And that included reaching out to a place that I wanted to see if they were accepting new patients for therapy for myself, like counseling, talk therapy. And it was the place that I had gotten my, I'd gone through to get all of my testing done, and I got my official autism diagnosis back in May, and I had such a positive experience with their staff. I felt like their staff were, like the psychologists and psychiatrists that I saw were so caring and so just like respectful and validating that I thought this is a place I feel like could be a really fantastic fit as far as therapy goes. And I had sent them in a message, and unfortunately heard back the next day that they don't accept our current insurance, which is a huge bummer. So I have a couple other places I'm going to try reaching out to, but that was, I think, just a little bit of a blow because I thought like, well, you know, I felt like they could have really catered therapy sort of to knowing that I have this diagnosis that comes with like these struggles because of, you know, this data that they have. So that was disappointing, but I definitely am ready to get back into talk therapy. I've been talking about it for weeks and months, and it's like I took a big step towards that, but I also didn't truly make progress because the place that I contacted isn't accepting new patients. So I still have to reach out somewhere else. And by the way, I did have someone ask or a couple of people have brought it up and saying like, oh, you got like an official autism diagnosis. I don't know if I missed you talking about it. And I haven't like sat down and like gone into detail with what the process of getting tested looked like and what all came out of that. I think that for a long time, like for a good couple months, I was sort of just sitting on it and processing it myself. And then I don't know, I didn't feel like I wanted to sit down and do a whole thing over it. But maybe in a future video, I'll talk about it more in depth. I'm not quite in the headspace for that today, but yes, it's, you know, officially official. Excuse me. But anyway, so that was, you know, that's now moved to my to-do list for this week. And, yeah, it also is just looking like a lot of sort of spiraling thoughts, like negative self-talk and worries and stuff like that. And I don't know. So my anxiety's just been a little bit rough lately, and I recognize it and I see it, and I've done like the medication route before, and it was really helpful, and then I kind of went off of it, and I was really glad that I went off of it for a while. I don't know. I'm not really looking to get back on medication right at the moment, but I'm also not one to turn down something that may be helpful. I want to start with talk therapy and see how we can go with that as well. I think that would be a good starting point at this rate. But like I said, I was productive though. I also called and I made like just an appointment for a well check with my doctor. And I reached out, I did a follow-up call to our custom cabinet guy that we were going to use because he had some stuff going on. And when I had contacted him a few weeks back, and he's like, can you contact me in 2 weeks? Well, I gave him 3 weeks, and then I contacted him, and he has not responded back. And so now I'm going, okay, well, do I need to start searching for someone else to do our do replacements for the 2 cabinets that we lost to water damage earlier in the year? So that's on my radar. And those are the big ones. I'd reached out to my youngest pediatrician to talk about what my concerns with his ear. He's got like kind of a stinky ear that he's had on and off for a couple months. And, I'm concerned that maybe something has like gone wrong with the tube in that ear or something, because he had tubes put in his ears when he was a toddler because of ear infections. It's a whole mess. But she had gotten back to me and said, actually, I think you should just go straight to an ENT. So I need to call ENT this week. But one of the big things happening this week, though, is on later in the week, Micah is going to be going into the dentist and having like a cavity filled and like a cleaning and stuff done, and some x-rays to see if there's any other cavities that they didn't necessarily see in the minimal exam that he allowed them to do. So that appointment is going to be under general anesthesia. It really is like just the gentlest and kindest way to do dental work. on little ones, especially ones that have special needs like Micah does. We've been down this road before, so it's not as scary because it's not a complete unknown, but it is still scary. Like I'm still anxious, about what they'll see when they're able to do like that full round of x-rays, and just how he'll do with going under and coming out. And so any positive thoughts you have to send us later this week on Thursday, I would be so incredibly grateful. It's tricky because we have tickets to see Hadestown on Thursday, and we had gotten these quite a while back. It was funny because Adam he had texted me and said, hey, like, my friends are getting tickets to see Hadestown. Like, I didn't think you would necessarily be interested, but I just wanted to double check. And I was like, yeah, no, I absolutely want to go and see that. It was on my list of stage shows I'd really like to see. And so I'm really excited for that. But the dentist office, the kids' dentist office, only does general anesthesia appointments once a month. And it just so happens that it's the same day as we have Hadestown tickets. Now, Adam's parents were already planning to come up and watch the kids. And really, like, Micah's probably just going to wake up and be maybe a little bit sleepy and should be fine. Like I said, we've been down this kind of road before. But it's still in the back of my mind to think like, well, depending on what all work they end up having to do, because they won't know until he's under and they can really get a good look at things and do x-rays. I just know that it's a very decent possibility that I'm going to need to cancel on at least me going to see Hadestown, so that I can stay home with Micah instead of, leaving him with Adam's parents. So that's on my radar. I mean, I'm glad it's them and not like a sitter, but still, like, if he's grumpy or having a tough time or anything like that, he's going to want me, like, I'm going to be the most comforting person to him. So, but I'm hoping it works out. I hope everything goes really smoothly with it all, and that it's not a big deal for us to leave. I mean, we'd only be gone for maybe 2 hours before he'd be going to bed anyway, but you know how it goes. But that's another thing that's really, really hard for me. Adam was bringing up like, oh, we should really, look at getting, a sitter. So it's not always just relying on his parents to come up, because, they live an hour away. It's kind of a big deal for them to come up. I mean, they love seeing the kids, but it's kind of a big ask. And from time to time, if we want to do date nights a little more frequently or something like that, it would make more sense if we just had a sitter nearby. And Adam brought that up, and I just immediately was my gut reaction was to go, no, we're not doing that. And I just said to him, I was like, we need to have a talk about it, because I have a lot of hangups surrounding being okay, like, and feeling good about leaving Micah with a sitter, because as I mentioned, he's just got a lot going on. There's just a lot, and I would need to feel like I could really fully trust whoever we chose to leave him with. And that's a big ask. And it's also just knowing, like, this is a lot to ask of someone. I would not just want to hire like a high schooler to come over. It would be like, I want our sitter to be someone that I feel really confident is able to like navigate and just be very level-headed and chill when Micah does this sensory seeking that is a lot of like screeching and sometimes like body slams and stuff, where he likes to like crash into you or crash into like the couch and stuff. And so, yeah, that's been a source of some trepidation for me too. But he seems to be doing well at school. Like, he really likes going to school and always runs right to his teacher. And he's learning a lot at school. Like, he's very proudly able to spell and write his own name now. It's really cute. On the back of his binder, they have a list of, my big list of kindergarten goals is what it says. And it looks like a big bingo card. And it's like each box has a different goal that they want the kiddos to be able to meet by the time they finish kindergarten. And of course, one of those is, write my own name. And I'm sure there's like some counting and reading related ones in there too. But, I'm just like, okay, like, he's learning, he's loving school. And he's in a special ed kinder program, and I think that's been good. Like, I'm really glad he's back in school, and that it seems to be going really well. And then Connor has been doing well at school too. It was really cute when I picked him up from school on Friday. I walked over and I was like getting them both, and gave Connor a hug and asked, "Oh, so how was school today?" And he was like, "It was a good day." And then he kind of did this little like sigh, and he's like, "I'm gonna miss," and then he said his teacher's name, which I'm not gonna say here for obvious reasons. "I'm gonna miss Mrs. blank." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I like her a lot." And I just, of course, my heart melted, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad. That's wonderful that you like your teacher so much." And he was like, "Yeah, she's really pretty too." And I was like, "That's so sweet." So I'll have to send her a message that he said that, because she'll probably think that that's really, really cute. So I'm happy. I'm happy that both boys seem to be doing well with school and stuff. And we're a month into the school year now, so settling into our routine. I got to do something really fun. It was a tiny bit impulsive, but not 100% impulsive. It was kind of on my radar, so to say. But this was a couple weeks ago. I forgot to mention it in last week's WIP and Chat, which is silly because I was so excited about it. But a couple of weeks ago, I'm up late like I usually am, and I see an email come in from Creation Entertainment, which is the organization that puts on a variety of different like fandom conventions. Like they do like some of like the official Star Trek conventions and like Vampire Diaries and stuff. And they do the Supernatural conventions. Now, I went to a Supernatural convention in Texas a couple years ago. I was going there to spend some time with a friend that I met like online through diamond painting, Jacqueline. And it worked out that I also then went to this convention. And I had just the best time ever, but it was not that long after pandemic. And so, sorry to sniffle. And so it was a little bit of a different experience. Like all of the photo ops, they had a sheet of plexiglass up between you and the people you're doing photo ops with, which is just really different from sort of the usual photo op experience. But it was fine. Like I still got to really enjoy like all the panels and all the fun of being there and stuff. But I always kind of had in the back of my head, like, oh, maybe someday I'll kind of get to do a second pass at this. And at the time, especially because I knew how the photo ops are going to be, because they were really transparent about it. They said, like, these photo ops, there's going to be plexiglass. You're not touching the actors, because, I mean, they're taking pictures with hundreds of people, of course, not that long after peak COVID. Of course, they're not going to be like, yeah, sure, let's give hugs to everybody. So I only bought one photo op at the time. I don't think I've ever posted it here, or even on my Patreon. I think I didn't post it there. But the only photo op I did pay for, because I was like, okay, if I never go to another Supernatural convention, what is like the one that I would at least want to have, even if there's plexiglass? And I got a photo op with Misha Collins, except he has a couple of different photo op scenarios. One is just him like as himself, the actor. And then he also does one where he's in character as the Angel Castiel. And so that's the one that I did. And it was really fun. But anyway, so I'm sure you can probably guess where this may be going. But anyway, I'm sitting and it's like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm doing some like admin-y stuff related to, I think, drills and chills, catching up on some emails and stuff. And I see an email come in from Creation Entertainment, and it says something about like, Supernatural fans get excited for, Burbank. We're coming to Burbank. Burbank is in Los Angeles. It's 40 minutes away from me. And so thank goodness Adam was still awake, because I went and looked real quick, and it was like, oh no, tickets had just gone on sale with like reserved seating and whatnot. So I turned to Adam really quick. I was like, hey, so as soon as I explained, I was like, look, I know this is going to sound spontaneous, but let me explain. I said, they apparently just sort of announced this and tickets just went on sale. And it's the middle of the night. And so, there's
tons and tons and tons of availability. And I said, can I go? I wouldn't have to pay for lodging or travel or besides driving up there or anything. And I said, I've always wanted to go again. Like, it was such a fun and wonderful experience. And Adam just didn't even link. He's like, yeah, no, you should totally go again. And at first he said, do you want me to go with you? Or do you want to try to see if you can get someone else to go with you? And I just said, tickets are really expensive, at least the ones I was looking at. And I said, it'd be really fun if you went with me, but, I don't necessarily want to assume that. I'm like, I'm going to want to be there the whole time, like for all the things. And that would just be a lot to ask potentially of your parents or someone to like watch the kids and stuff. So ultimately he's like, well, if you're sure, did you have a fun time when you went by yourself in Texas? I was like, yeah, because everyone's a Supernatural fan, and it's all basically like you just make friends with the people around you. Everyone is super nice, and you're not really there alone. You're there with a bunch of other Supernatural fans. So I grabbed tickets, and that is in March of next year, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to start like saving up so that I can grab a couple of like in-person the photo ops without the plexiglass because it's gone now. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I appreciate that Adam was just like, yeah, no, this is literally like one of your favorite things and special interests. Yeah, you should definitely do this. I'm also hopeful because it's in LA. I feel like the chances of them getting a lot of sort of the more like guest actors are higher, that there will be more of those people there because a lot of them live in LA. So I'm also hoping for that, because that was the other thing about the one that I went to, is that there were a couple of like kind of guest actors I was really bummed weren't there because, a lot of them are working actors or directors or whatnot. And so I'm very much looking forward to this, and just excited that Adam was completely on board. I then mentioned it to my mom because she flies out to visit a few times a year, usually every few months. She often listens to my WIP and Chat. So, hey mom, if you're listening, I mentioned it to her. I was like, so if you maybe wanted to try planning your March trip, because she usually comes out in March, because that's when my youngest birthday is. So maybe you want to plan it around like when I'm going to go to this convention, so you can help Adam out with the kiddos, and he's not flying solo all weekend, because I'm going to want to be up there like the whole time that there's anything going on. But yeah, I'm so stoked for that. I'm so stoked, and I'm so glad I was awake and saw the email and was able to jump on it, because I'm going to be like in the second row, just a few seats over. I can't wait. It'll be fun to get to go again. But I don't know, any Supernatural fans here, sound up in the comments. Heck, if you end up going to the Burbank convention, send me a message. Let's meet up and say hi. Anyway, so there's that. And we'll see. I'm really hoping it's going to work out. Speaking of just like event type things, I'm hoping it's going to work out for us to see Hadestown together on Thursday, because like I said, that's been on my list to see. I love all things like Greek mythology, and I want to go. As far as what I have been reading and watching and listening to this week, so I did finish reading. Let's do reading first. I finished Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, the tandem read I was doing. Those are books in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and it was fantastic. I think that Empire of Storms is probably my favorite in that series by far. I feel like, don't worry, there will be no spoilers. There's so much payoff with the characters and the relationships. I was digging it. I was so digging it. And I am really happy, really, really happy I did the tandem read, because I was struggling to connect with some of the characters and stories in the other book, Tower of Dawn, and I'm glad that I don't have to sort of go back and read it separately. There's only one book left in the series. It's called Kingdom of Ash, and it's the longest by far. Weirdly, when I was Googling to see like, oh, what's the word count on Kingdom of Ash, there were like just wildly different word counts it would come back with. But it's longer than any of the other books in the series. I think it's over 200k words. I'll do it as an audiobook again. And I'm waiting a little bit, though, waiting for my friends to catch up some, so I don't just like blaze ahead. I I didn't wait for them on the tandem read much. I was so enjoying it, and I was trying to ride that wave of momentum while I could. So I'll wait a little bit. I don't really have anything else like that I'm actively reading. I usually have a few tabs open in a variety of different just stories or fandoms and whatever on Archive of Our Own, and just sort of shuffle through whatever I'm in the mood for at the moment. In the meantime, but as far as audiobooks go, I don't have anything else sort of in the rotation. I think I'll start Kingdom of Ash this week, maybe next week. We'll see. I need to check in and see where my friends are at in that tandem read first. And then listening to, nothing really different as far as, the usuals. What was I listening to? I was listening to some NSYNC, like the new NSYNC single from Trolls 2 dropped, which is cute. And everyone is just going, are they going to announce some kind of reunion tour or anything? Someone made the point that was like, a lot of these guys are dads now and have small children. It's hard to imagine them touring, but I don't know. They're either teasing really hard or they're just having a lot of fun winding up fans with no plans to actually do anything besides release the single that they released. It's fine. I'll still enjoy listening to my NSYNC in the meantime. Speaking of nostalgia, in my Patreon live stream earlier, Neopets came up, and that was a fun dose of nostalgia. And I still follow like the Neopets Facebook page, and which, by the way, take this as your warning: go feed your Neopets. It was just, I said, I think that they got bought out by a new company, and it looks like they're doing more stuff again, including releasing physical merch, and that sounds delightful. So I'm very tempted to go check on my Neopets account if I even still have the password handy for it, and see how my Neopets are doing. Hi, welcome home.
Hi.
Adam is home. Hi. Aw. I'm wrapping up, I promise. So, he's so sweet. So anyway, yeah, I went through a real Neopets addicted phase for a minute, as Adam can well attest to. But it was so funny that it came up, and I thought, I should go check on how my Neopets are doing. Naturally, most of mine were drakes, whatever that was.
I'm so sorry.
Were drakes, which are basically the Neopets version of dragons, which, always been a dragon fan since day one, apparently. But yeah, so that was fun. Other things I've been watching, though, we watched this past week a fantastic movie on Netflix called Nimona, and my friend Kate had recommended it to me I think a couple of months ago, and I had just forgotten that she recommended it to me because we watched it, and promptly after finishing it, I sent her a message and was like, hey, I just watched this movie on Netflix I think you'd really enjoy called Nimona. And she's like, yeah, I literally recommended that to you already. She didn't say it with that tone. I'm injecting it because I'm being really self-deprecating about the fact that I just completely forgot that she had recommended it. You guys, it was so wonderful. It's an animated movie, I think, based on a graphic novel, and the story was delightful and so sweet. It was so good. So good. I don't know what age child I would think this was necessarily appropriate for. We didn't really talk about if we would show Connor. Because there's a couple of little adult type jokes, but not any worse than Pixar can get. So I don't know. But it was wonderful. It was so wonderful, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So if you're looking for something that just has fantastic messaging and is a really, really, really good story and a wonderful, it's stylized. That often happens when something's based on a graphic novel. But I loved it. That's got to be one of my favorite movies that I've seen in a while. So highly recommend. And then I did, after I finished doing my audiobooks, which I basically did in lieu of watching or listening to anything else, after I finished those, I did kind of swing back around naturally to rewatching Supernatural. I think I'm in season 11. I'm coming up on the end of season 11. at the moment. And of course I'm more in the mood for it again because I'm like, I'm going to the convention in March. So I love it. And I love that like fandom type things and nerd type things have gone mainstream enough that now it's like you don't have to feel weird or like you're being judged for liking what you like. And that just reminds me that apparently this is a phrase that that a lot of people haven't heard other people use, and they think that it's something I came up with, and it's the whole, if you love it, I love it for you. And I did not come up with that. I don't even remember where I came across that phrase. I think it might have been back on my days when I was on like the bump message boards for when I was pregnant with my kids. Yes, I was on those message boards. Are message boards even a thing anymore? Anyway, someone on there would say it, and I just thought that phrase was hysterical, and I just adopted it. But yeah, not claiming credit for coming up with it. Don't come for me. Anyway, you guys, as far as what's coming up content-wise this week, I want to get a month in review video out for you guys. I'm going to have a good number of finishes to claim for the month of September because I had a couple of smaller kits that I worked on. So I'll be working on that and having that up for you sometime this week. And then we'll be back with your regularly scheduled Drills and Chills content on Saturday. I should have a sneak peek for you on Friday. And then I have another day or two that I get to fill with other stuff. I feel like I'm overdue once again to do a small shop haul. Maybe not necessarily one that's specific to Drills and Chills sponsors. But either a small shop haul or I have some other like small shop kits in that I'd like to unbox, and a couple other kits that I could do reviews on. Yeah, I was just real quick. I kind of floated this in my Patreon live earlier, and I'd love to hear your input as well. I have a number of kits in my stash that I am 100% planning to work on. However, they have either been discontinued, like in the case of Plant Witch. That's not a kit you can buy directly from the shop anymore. You can probably find it in D-stashes. Or in the example of like a shop that's closed down, I have a number of DIY moon shop kits in my stash that I absolutely am planning to work on. But you cannot get those kits exactly as is anymore because they're from a shop that has shut down or it was bought out and the name was changed. So it has a new manufacturer, new artist, new everything. So I'm curious to hear from you. Do you mind? Do you like, dislike, neutral on if I do post-review videos on kits like that? Kits that are either that, you know, the shop is still open, but that exact kit is not still available, or, you know, the shop is fully closed down. You cannot get this kit directly from the shop. Do you want to, like, do you want to see those post reviews anyway? Because you just like seeing completed diamond paintings, or do you actively not want to see those kinds of those kinds of post reviews, or do you just not have strong feelings at all? If you wouldn't mind sharing your thoughts on that, I am just curious. I'm trying to put a finger on the pulse of what you guys would think of something like that. So thanks in advance if you take the time to comment about that. In addition, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, two things. One, if you didn't watch last week's WIP and Chat, I included in there something that is going to be it's related to a belated celebration of my 3rd anniversary on YouTube. So go and take a peek at that because you have one more week for whatever that may or may not be. And secondly, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, how about a dragon or a pumpkin emoji in honor of our little pumpkin dragon? I know we didn't quite get through this whole section, and it might not have been the most entertaining to watch because it was just placing a lot of black and dark blue. It was purely 310 and 939 was this dark blue color I was just working on. But thank you for helping me get through that big section of color blocked black diamonds. This background is, you know, it's going to take me a minute to get through, but we'll get there. Okay. I love these cat-proof trays so much, but I will say that sometimes when I pour a lot of diamonds in there and there's just this little spout to come through, it's a little bit of just a tiny bit less convenient than an external spout, but a little bit is a learning curve too. I don't mind. It's not a deal breaker because I really, really enjoy cat-proof trays a lot. But, you know, I liked all the tools we were working with today. I didn't have any notable issues with the putty in this video. I mean, it flops over the sides, but that happens with any multi-placer I use, and you'll see me go back and kind of reset it. Any number of times. I do it on autopilot at this point. But I didn't run into, like, it hasn't gotten soft or dirty or anything just yet, but it's brand new fresh putty, so you know, it probably wouldn't. But anyway, all the other things were great to work with, and I'll have all these shops linked in the description box below if you're curious and want to take a look. But I'm gonna let you go. I hope you have a day and a week that is as amazing as you are, and I'll talk to you in the next one. All right, bye.